Hello guys, it is Teenage Marvel Fan back with another video, and if you have not seen my Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout Black Vortex Part 1 review, then you need to go check that out, because if you haven't seen that, then you won't understand any of this, unless you've seen the actual episodes, which not many of you have probably seen, so definitely go check that out before you watch this one, and then so yeah, let's just get right into it. So in this part, we start off with Rocket, and he is now like CG stop motion, and he looks weird to say the least, but I get it because it's supposed to be like a different type of animation, and he's supposed to look weird. So, I'm fine with that. But anyway, he is in a factory, and then he gets a message from Gamora because she's just helping out everybody in this whole thing. And she tells him that he needs to get out of there, and then he says that he's not leaving without Groot. Well, actually, before he says that he's not leaving without Groot, he sees a giant sign that says exit. So he's like, okay, I'll just go to the exit. But then he sees Groot, and obviously he's not going to leave Groot behind, so then he has to go find him. But Groot is now, like, baby Groot, and he's, like, locked up in a box, and he's, like, on a conveyor belt, so Rocket has to go save him. And then, so then he jumps up, finds Groot, and then he opens the box, and then, Groot is, like, a robot. So then, Groot, like, expands and, like, turns into this giant robot monster, and then Rocket starts fighting him, and he's like, you know what, you're not the real Groot, you're a fake Groot, so I'll just take at least part of the real Groot. So then he finds that magic twig, and then he takes it with him, and he goes to the exit. He opens the exit door, and then there's just a brick wall there. So it was a lie, there was no exit. So then he has to use the Groot robot to his advantage. So then he jumps on top of it, he opens the back of it, and starts, like, rewiring things because, he's a genius. And then he basically wires it to blast a hole in the roof, and then fly him through the roof so then he can escape. And then once he gets out, he uses the magic twig to make a door, and then he walks through that door, just like all the other Guardians. Then, in the next part, you see Groot, and he wakes up in like, traditional CG form, and he's in a diner, and then he sees Jakku, or Jakku, and then, for some reason, Groot is talking with normal words. Instead of just saying, I am Groot, he actually says what he means to say. And this is what I like so much about this episode. This is definitely my favorite part out of the whole 4-part event. This part with Groot. And then Jakku is talking like Groot was. So then all that Jakku can say is, I am Jakku. And then Groot sees something outside. It looks like, almost like a curtain of black smoke. And then it's, like, moving. And then Jakku goes outside to check it out. And then it, like, passes over Jakku. And then he, like, turns to stone. At least that's what it looks like at first. Until you realize that it actually just turns him into, like, a zombie thing. So then Groot is getting confused. So then he starts running because, Jakku's trying to eat Groot. And then Groot has to get away from the black curtain. That's just what I'm going to call it for now. And so then Groot is on the run. He's running, and then he hears a bark. So then he turns around, and he looks in the corner, and he sees Cosmo, and he's like, oh, Cosmo, I'm so glad to see you. We have to get out of here. There's this black curtain thing coming. And then he realizes that Cosmo got infected too. Cosmo's a zombie. And if you don't know who Cosmo is, he's basically a Russian space dog that can talk, and he has telekinetic powers. So then there's this huge fight between Groot and Cosmo, and it's really cool because Cosmo is like one of my favorite characters from the Marvel universe. And then once Groot escapes that, then he makes his way over to the Milano, but he gets confused because the Milano had just been like destroyed in the real world, because he doesn't realize that this is all a dream or like fake and stuff. So then he runs over to the Milano, and then he sees Rocket there, and then he explains everything to Rocket, but then realizes that Rocket was infected as well. So then he has to fight Rocket because Rocket just starts shooting at him, and then Rocket stops, and then the black curtain like circles around Groot, and then it just forms over Groot until he starts falling until he hits the ground, and then he wakes up, and then he's like knocked out, but then he wakes up where you can see in this picture, he's on his home world, which I forgot what it's called. Okay, so I just checked, and it's called Planet X. So he wakes up on Planet X, and then he thought that his whole species was extinct, and that he was the only one left. But then there's all of these baby Groots here. But then the black curtain appears, and then it starts to overtake the baby Groots. So then Groot has to start running. But then the baby Groots start chasing after him because they're evil and they're like zombies now. And then they form into these giant baby Groots. And then they almost get Groot, but then Groot ends up climbing up this mountain and he escapes them. But then once again the black curtain forms around Groot, but it leaves like a circle around Groot, so it's not like on him yet. And then this huge cloud of purple appears, and then you find out that that's the black vortex, and the black vortex has been trapped inside there forever, and that he wanted to get out. So if he trades the body of Groot, then he could escape, and then he wouldn't be trapped in there anymore. So then he wants to like corrupt Groot and sacrifice Groot's body to the black vortex. So then he like starts changing Groot and making him evil. And then that is pretty much the end of the episode. And this is like probably the best episode of this not crossover, 4-part event. The next episode is pretty good too. But yeah, then it's just so cool to see Groot evil, especially like the way that he looks in the 4th part. Can't wait to show you that. So stay tuned for that. But please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video so I can bestow all my Marvel knowledge upon you.